not all people that are in your organization are part of your team. There's a difference between skillmates and teammates. Skillmates are those you hire purely because of what they can do. They don't have to buy the dream. They don't have to believe in the business. They don't have to believe in the course. When you get a plumber to fix your bathroom, he doesn't have to believe in the dream of the family. It's a skill you want. But teammates are those whom you want to share the dream of the company, that have to believe and become part of dreaming in that company. And then they also have skills to be able to execute the task. Not necessarily how much they're getting paid because of the skills they're provided. Those are teammates. Also, people try to hire talent. You don't hire talent, you attract. You hire skills, you attract talent. When people are talented, they are gifted with a particular thing or how to do something. If you deny them the opportunity to grow, they will leave you no matter how much you pay. But most jobs kill talents. They give them job description and say you are restricted to do X, Y, Z. But when you don't know the difference and you hire a talent and think that money will keep them, you have a problem.
Welcome to the LIMBsimple podcast, a space where business meets boldness, leadership meets life, and real conversation spark real transformation. I am Melvis in his one. Now, I need you to stop scrolling, to stop multitasking, because what you're about to hear could shift how you lead, how you earn, and how you live forever. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. The next level isn't just about strategy. It's about your mindset. It's about the attitude. It's about how you show up, not just in the boardroom, but in how you think, how you decide, and how you build value over time. And today's guest is about to shake the table in the best way possible. He has trained teams from JP Morgan Chase in the US to Fortune 500 executive across 5 continents, and he's helping rising leaders move from performance addiction to purposeful impacts. But what makes him different isn't just his resume. It's the clarity, the depth, the way he breaks down performance psychology, mindset shifts, like he's talking directly to your soul. Joining us is the brilliant Ugochukwu Omeogu, a workplace attitude and peak performance expert. The man who's so good, he turns professionals into unstoppable leaders. Today, we'll be talking about the trap of competence without capacity, the shift from hustle to sustainable wealth, the knowledge industry, and how and if to monetize what you know, and the mindset that every leader must master to build a legacy that actually lasts. So grab your coffee, put your phone on D&D, because this conversation is about to rewire how you see yourself and how you would be in your future. So let's get into this. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Ugochukwu Omeogu.
Yes.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'd say honestly that this conversation is one that I have anticipated well up from November after conversation on the LIMBsimple convention.
Right.
I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'd love for them today to experience the bliss of having a 1-hour conversation with you.
Okay.
Now, I have gone through your profile, all right? I have seen your clientele, JP Morgan, the CBN, ExxonMobil, Fortune 500 businesses. I mean, the names are endless. It's literally on a speed dial. But what excites me the most is that when I think about you, I don't necessarily think about just the companies or the businesses that you have impacted, right? I think of you more of as the story itself. Your life is the story that I think is just as important as the impact that you have made in the businesses that you work with. So I'd like for us right now to de-shell and focus right now on you, a couple of years ago. Talk to me about how growing up and who young Ugochukwu was. Because that's going to influence the trajectory of our conversation.
Okay. Okay. Great. Nice one. Well, growing up was interesting. I think I had one of the best starts in the world. And as soon as I dropped down to earth, and 1 year, 6 months after I was born, I had polio. That was a very fantastic start. It's just like, I think the heavens know. I think that polio was to show that something spectacular is about to happen. I mean, at the age of 1 year, 6 months, what do I know? What sins have I committed? But for a young person like that, to have polio means that I'm going to start on a very rough path. So going through polio, physically having challenge in my physical limbs was a very task one on me. And it made me have self-doubt. And places where I'm supposed to be with my peers growing up, my peers tell me I can't. Like if we're going for a party or going for a football game or going to play, my friends would tell me, hey, you can't be there. And, I had to be careful. My legs, wouldn't let me. But in my mind, I never knew I had a bad leg because in my mind, I want to play. In my mind, I want to play football. I want to go to school. So it was a conflict in my mind. Like, why would you stop me from going to play balls with you guys? Because you think I can't run? But my brain doesn't know I can't run because I'm running. I may not run as fast as they are running, but I'm running nonetheless. So that particular incident, made me started thinking earlier, figuring out how to make up for my losses in terms of the areas that my friends wouldn't want me to be. It made me more sensitive. For example, if we're sitting in a room and each time we go out, someone has to help me to open the door. I remember a story, an event in my secondary school in Owerri, right?
Oh, Owerri.
Yeah.
Not from Imo State.
Oh, really? Something with me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So in the dormitory, the boarding house, my friends would help me to take my bucket of water to the bathroom, because the hostel I was is quite a distance from where the bathroom is.
Sorry, quick one. You went through a boarding secondary?
Yes, I went to a boarding secondary school.
That in itself is so challenging.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Matter of fact, when I got to the boarding house, there's a particular hostel for people with disability.
Oh.
So my uncle took me there, and I was like, "Why would you take me there? You think I'm disabled?"
Oh,
it was very an astonishing situation. I told my uncle, I mean, there were blind people there, and people were deaf and dumb. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but I didn't see myself as that. So I told Uncle, you can't think in your mind that I'm here.
How young were you?
I was between the age of 10, 9, 8, 9, 11 at the time.
You were a phenomenal child.
Yes. I was literally crazy. You know what I mean?
You know what I hear right now is how from childhood you had completely deluded yourself into your own reality.
Because I didn't know I had a bad leg. And mentally, I didn't know. I work, I run, I fall, and I get up. So, but people were placing limitations on me, like you can't do that. I'm like, why? See, my brain says I can. My leg may not catch up with my brain.
Okay.
My brain says I can. So right there in the school, I told my uncle, I'm not going to be here. My uncle said, I said, because the people that were there, the blind people, I mean, with all due respect, they walk with the cane, they walk like that. And the people, the cripples will be, moving that. So I was looking at them physically. That's not what I see about myself. Even though other people looking at me might see me that way. But in my internal representation, I never saw myself up to today that I had a physical challenge. My brain doesn't know that. So I had to leave that hostel and move to a hostel where there are regular people. So that's where the challenge came from. In the places where the people with disability were, quote unquote disabled people, because I don't think they're disabled. You see, I think it's a wrong terminology to look at a man or woman whose leg is not functioning the way it should and call the entire person disabled.
So what would you say is a better term for it?
Well, I don't know. I think it's a derogatory statement to call any human being by any standard a disabled person. I think it's a wrong connotation. For example, if you have a car and the car has a bad tire, what do you do? You fix the tire. You don't say the car is disabled. Right? You don't call the entire car. You say the way it has a flat tire. Okay. So whatever. I remember again, I was in Dubai and I saw a signboard where they have the wheelchair when they normally used to signify people with disability. And that said people with determination. That was in Dubai. Yes, I think we took a picture of that. We took a picture of that.
So, I mean, any chance we could have that to post on?
You can find it somewhere, right?
I love that.
He said people with determination.
That is so
That was what he said in Dubai, right?
So good.
So now, when I left that particular place and got to the regular hostel, now the first place, the bathroom is pretty much, and the toilet is the same place. So it makes it easy for them. Mm-hmm. But this place that I am right now, the place where my friends, the regular people are, the bathroom is a mile away. So when you wake up in the morning, you have to carry a bucket of water. You have to go to the bathroom. And I couldn't do that. So I have to depend on my friends to carry the bucket of water, jump some pavement, come down, walk a mile to go back. So right now, I'm faced with the challenges of how to close the gap between relating with people. Now, what happened in that instance was, anytime in the morning, my friends will help me carry the bucket of water for me to bath and take it to the bathroom. Anytime we're having conversation in the hostel, if I want to say a word, they'll tell me to shut up. I said, why? He said, well, is it because I helped you with the bucket of water? And if you do anyhow, I'm not going to help you next time.
They're trying to manipulate you.
Yes, I'm thinking, but I didn't ask you to help me. It was a need. So you know what I found out? Whether or not you ask for help, when someone dumps something for you, you're indebted. Whether or not you ask for help, anytime you receive value from people, anytime people do something for you, that reception of that value,
you're indebted.
Makes you indebted to the next person. So I'm like, okay, so because you took my bucket to the bathroom, now I can't say what I want. You know what happened? Each time we come back from holidays, we come back with cabin biscuits, come back with gari, we call Otto, we come back with milk, we come back with groundnut, all those things. So I always keep my own. I don't finish them.
So you keep.
So when people, at time we come back, and then I'll give to my friends ahead of time. Now they feel indebted. Every morning, when someone takes my bucket of water to the bathroom, I give them extra milk, extra cabin, and extra biscuits.
Look at you paying them for their service.
Yeah. So now every morning, 10 people line up. Yes, exactly. But you know what happened?
Okay.
Because I put myself in that position, it made me more sensible. My sensitivity to human needs become more heightened. As a matter of fact, I become the leader. People now come up to me for solutions because they always know I have extra. So not allowing myself in a situation where I am defined by a temporary, transient, physical, non-threatening situation, you know what I mean? Put me in a position where my mind developed extra beyond my friends could do. So growing up was interesting. And then I also remember an incident when my dad retired to the village after his business explorations and all. We go back to the village, in the actual village, like a real village. And then every time we were going to school, the distance from my school to my house was quite a distance. The same thing, I couldn't trek to school. And that was in primary school. So every morning, my brothers wake up in the morning, they would go to school. And I couldn't, because we didn't have a car to take me to school. So at the time, one day, I woke up in the morning. I was not happy that in the morning, my younger brothers will leave for school, and I'll be the one at home, and everywhere is quiet. It was so boring, and I wanted to be there. So one day, I woke up in the morning, and I take their school uniform and soaked it inside the water, so nobody goes to school. That was what I did.
You sound so proud of yourself.
No, yes, I was. I was going to figure out what to do. I mean, you can't leave me at home.
Okay, so what did that come out to?
But what happened was, my intent was to go to school. That's my intent. But putting their school uniform inside the water still didn't make me go to school. So what I found from that instance is, stopping other people from moving forward will make me move forward. My mom dealt with me though.
Good.
She dealt with me.
I'd expect that.
Yes. So what happened was, after that was, the next day, as I dress up to go to school, I also dress up to go to school. So I wear my uniform, they wear their uniform. I will walk with them to the gate of my house, and I will stop there, and I won't come back to that house until they come back and meet me at the gate, and then we'll come back together. So in my head, I've gone to school. Yes. And then at the gate of the house, I will be playing some games. I will put sand on my leg to build castles. I don't know if you did that. Build castles. That's what they call in chalk. It's a kind of local game. You put holes. So I'll be doing all those things. I will use stick and build bridges. I'll be doing that until my brothers come back. And when I see them coming back, I'm excited. And then when they meet me at the gate, from 8 to 2 p.m. under the sun, I'll be there. So, but as I was doing that every day, I didn't know somebody was observant. So this guy stopped one day and said, young man, I see you here all the time. You're always outside here during school hours. What's going on? All dressed up. I started crying. I told him that I wanted to go to school. that my brothers, were at school. So he came into the house, talked to my dad, and that his job is on my way to school. That where my school is on his way to his work. So that he'd like to take the pleasure to take me to school along the way.
Okay.
And my dad was okay with that. So that's why I started going to school. You know what I found out? Anytime you're at the gate of your destiny, a helper will come.
You just have to be at the gate.
You have to dress up for the helper. Sometimes people wait for help to come without getting ready for help. Help is always on the way, but you're not always ready. As I'm speaking to you right now, people all over the world, investors are trying to come to this country. But would you be the person they will meet when they come?
Do you even have a bankable business?
Do you understand me?
Yes, I do.
So as I speak to you right now, activities are going outside your consciousness. People are planning for events, planning for businesses. They're looking for who to invest with or work with or collaborate with. But you don't have to wait for the opportunity to come before you get ready. You have to get ready before the opportunity comes in. I guess that's what happened in my case. So that's another incident that happened as a little kid, growing up. Another event that happened was one day, because I always ask God, why would polio happen to me? I'm like, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Like, was I a bad person or something? So I was always in that state of questioning. Why? Because people are always trying to stop me. You can't jump over the fence. You can't jump the gutter. I remember sometimes in school, how you have the pavement and you have a gutter in between the pavement and you have to jump over. Everyone would tell me, don't. My friends would just jump 1, 2, 3. I said, no, I'm going to jump. Sometimes I fall down multiple times. If I show you my leg is all bruises. I got to jump it because my brain doesn't know something happened to my leg. So one day, I was driving along Wedra Road, where
I know Wedra.
So I was driving, and in fact, how I learned how to drive is also another problem. I'll tell you that.
I'm not surprised.
I'm going to tell you how I started driving.
Okay.
So this car was coming in front of me. I was driving the opposite direction, another car, and this car was a brand new car, brand new terrible. So as the car was coming in front of me, the back tire got busted. Boom. But something told me, because I was always highly cerebral, I was conscious of events happening in my life. So something said, watch what's going to happen to the car. So I pulled over and watch it. The driver of the brand new car pulled over by the shoulder of the road and then came out of the car and then opened the boot of the car and brought the spare tire of the car out of the car. I'm like, okay. And then he changed the bad tire with the spare tire from inside of the car. So my man told me, okay, so if man in his finite wisdom can produce a car while the car is in the factory, brand new car with 4 tires, and he still puts spare, knowing that if that car leaves the factory, the possibility of having a puncture tire is there. Don't you think that God in his infinite wisdom, when he's making man, he has put extra abilities should any of your limbs go? Should something happen to you physically, there's always something that's put in there. But look at the kicker here. The driver of the car have to come out of the car and then go back inside the car to get the tire. So when something happens to me, maybe in this case, my leg, because I'm trying to find answers. Now, I have to go inside my mind and inside my heart and figure out what other type of mobility do I have to make up for losing my leg. Now, I found that whatever I lose physically, I make up mentally. If you look at the incidents where my friends were taking the bucket of water to that place, that's me using their legs by affecting their lives. So I'm not lacking anything. Some things I can do, some things I can get others to do. But listen, I don't get people to do things for me I'm not qualified to pay for. So I leverage, right? And that creates a balance, a healthy balance in my life where I am never indebted with anyone because I'm always upfront in giving value to compensate what you're going to do for me. So that type of thinking has kept me on the edge, even in business. I'm always 1, 3, 4 steps ahead of my I'm always 1, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of my contemporaries, So the next story is about how I drove.
I was just please.
Yeah. So please. I learned to drive a car with manual.
What?
Yes.
It's even difficult.
Yes. So one of my legs is active, which is the left leg.
Okay.
The right leg is one that had the severe polio. So the right leg is pretty much lame.
Okay.
It still have motor skills. I can feel pain, but the muscles are atrophied. The muscles are not strong enough. So, but to drive manual, you need 2 legs, actively 2 legs.
Yes.
So the clutch, the brake, and the accelerator. So if you start the car, manual cars, if you start it won't start, you have to clutch and then hold the clutch and start so that it can hold the engine, right? And to put the gear, you have to hold the clutch and hold the brakes, and then before you move it into either gear 1 or gear 2 or gear 3, right? Good. So when I hold the clutch with my left leg, which is active, I have to use my hand, lift my leg and put it on the brake and then put a little pressure. Once I put the gear into 1, I have to use my leg to lift the right leg and put it on the accelerator while my left leg is also pressing the clutch, right? Now, but I have to do this with the speed of sound. And I have to move my leg. So that shows you how that your limbs, your legs takes a command from the brain.
Right.
So if your brain is fast enough and strong enough to calculate the differences in time, it will command your limbs and your legs to act on it. So that's why it's difficult for me to understand why anyone whose brain is working is not successful. It's difficult for me to understand.
Regardless of the circumstances.
I can't understand it. I mean, some people can, but I can't, because I have a situation where my brain is on overdrive. 90% of the time, my friends rely on me for the next direction. So that's how I started driving.
Okay. See, when I said earlier on that this interview is less about the impact that you've made in the businesses that you work with and more about the story of you, this is exactly what I knew we were going to get into. Now, you're welcome. Now, what I want to know is you did detail that, all of this agility, mental agility started way on from childhood. I would like to know at what point significantly you figured out, because there are so many things that happen to us as children that we do not have the cognitive, memory of. So at what age would you say, maybe 3, 4, that you realize that, okay, maybe I'm not exactly the same as every other child, and that might be a problem or might be to my advantage? At what point in your childhood did you figure that?
Well, I think it was a progressive realization. It was not one, I can't pinpoint one, but so many events keep challenging me. So many events. If you open my stomach right now, you're going to see marks or bruises that came from me climbing the palm tree. I go home when I'm in the village, people climb palm trees, especially during Christmases. You see those masquerades climb to go and just by themselves climb the trees, get to the top, cut the palms, and then they come down by themselves. And I'm like, I can do that. So I tried. I got to a certain point on a particular palm tree. I got frozen. I couldn't come down. I didn't know how to come down. I have to slide through the palm tree.
That's
and then have to scrape all of my stomach. So, and I know this for a fact. You can't have wisdom without challenges. Each challenge brings out something in you that is already dormant there. Anytime people run away from challenges, I'd say, boy, you are losing wisdom.
I mean, this conversation is so important to me, but I'm very sure that this is also going to impact. I hope that this reaches out to children that, probably are right now in the circumstance or situation that you were years ago, so that they can see how much, when I do read out your intro towards the end, your bio rather, towards the end of the podcast, I hope that when they see how much you have achieved and they hear all the challenges and the story of resilience and how you were able to shut out the disability that everybody could see and focus on your mental ability, I hope that somehow, just some way, it gives them the zeal and the fortitude to realize that life in itself is fair for them as much as they believe. Because, during the convention, you said something that was so profound. You said, what you think you believe you are
is more important than what you really are.
Thank you. I live by that right now. Right. For me, it was the topping of your session at the convention. And one thing I have come to realize over time is that resilience in itself, people forget that resilience isn't always loud.
No.
Right? It isn't always about the motivational speeches that people hear. It isn't even about our ability to effectively physically move situations, right? Resilience, sometimes it's about our ability to go through the difficult times mentally, because I personally feel that if I say to myself that this thing is hard, right? Even though I have ADHD, I find that thinking that it's hard is more difficult than my ADHD stopping me from doing it. So if I say I can do this...
You have ADHD?
Yes, I do.
Well, welcome to the club.
You do
Yes, I
too.
do, right. I'm dyslexic before as well. I don't like reading.
Look, when I was younger, right, I'd always see. I don't know maths right up until now. I don't know maths, so I hope that this never goes out. I don't know maths so much that I'm scared to do a master's right now because, look, I want to do an MBA, but I would need so much mathematical knowledge, and I'm so scared right now. This is I had to go read, the book on mindset, all over to totally engineer my brain to think like, look, you could learn anything. I want to probably go enroll for adult school now so that they could teach me maths again like I was 4.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. Honestly, you see, I'm so stubborn. My brain listens to me. I tell it what to do. It learns it.
I say I'm stubborn, but maybe I'm not using that well enough.
You've got the best stubborn ever made on the planet Earth.
Do tell.
Yes. I don't like reading. I'm dyslexic. I don't like words.
Okay.
I don't like to read. It's a punishment.
But I know you read. You're very well read.
Yeah, but I've read so many books. I bought a library about 10 years ago. I actually went to, there's a guy that has a library, has a full functional library, a full library. I bought it.
What's your secret?
Because my brain does what I asked him to do. So what I found over the years without even reading any book was that anytime I have a mission, an internal drive to get something done, if I start, my brain adjusts. So during secondary school, I know I'm an intelligent guy. I know I'm a brilliant guy. I know I'm a first-class material, but I never took in the first position in the class because of how hard it is for me to read, to concentrate on reading. As I start the first 2 pages, my mind is going somewhere else. I had to force it. There's a particular guy in my class who was always taking the first position. And I look, I say, what the hell, man? I'm going to take the first position. I read until I fall sick. I never get first position. So I was like number 3, number 4. And so the reason is this guy is Jehovah's Witness. In their life, they read every day. I'm like, oh, I only read during exams. I say, okay. So what I found is the things your brain does over time compounds before the actual need for the brain. So I read every day now, chunk by chunk. Sometimes I'm reading one book, I get bored, I take another one. So when you see me reading, like I read 5 books at the same time because of how crazy my brain goes.
Oh my God. You know, ADHD is literally attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
So, yes. So yeah.
So it literally is in the definition.
Yes. So but that's not a sickness.
Sure.
That's not a sickness.
Not.
It's a condition. It's what's one of the conditions anybody could have, and just learn how to work around it.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really...
You know, when I teach for 8 hours. The same way my brain works. People still get glued when I'm teaching. I take a subject, I start it, I won't finish it. I take another subject, I put all the subjects like I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have so many tabs open.
And people are watching and they're stunned. But when I finish, they're like, wow.
God.
And the check time 8 hours is good. It's a good thing to have if you know how to use it.
Do you know this also affects like conversations too that I have with people on a daily, right? We could have about 4 different topics happening. I come back sometimes to circle in on the initial one, but while talking about that, we're talking about something else. And I just find that sometimes it's wholesome if you're talking to someone that really gets you. Sometimes it can be quite boring. But I think I agree with you. It is not actually a problem if properly utilized.
It's not a problem in its place. It is neutral.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people label something as a problem, that colors how you see it. Because I don't want anyone to lose their legs. But you got to lose something to know something. I don't want you to lose your leg. Now, I have lost my leg so you don't lose yours. So you need to pay me to get my wisdom.
Oof.
So I'm saving you. Yeah.
You know one thing you said at the convention, you said something like, maybe the reason why God didn't give you legs is because he doesn't want you running about trying to chase buses. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you listen to me. You listen to me.
Oh, do you? I did.
You listen to me. You listen.
I'm like, exactly that. That is it. But anyways, moving past childhood and, you know, being the phenomenal, you know, child that you were.
Still are.
You're still a child? Happy Children's Day.
Thank you. I mean, the child in you, if it dies, you become old.
That's a problem.
The child means teachable. The word child means teachable. Anytime you're in a state of learning something new, you're in the child state.
I mean, even in the Bible, right? Christ asks us to, you know.
Yeah, he said, I remember, I think in Matthew 18:3 or so, one of the chapters in Matthew, he said, the disciples asked him, what does it take to be great in the kingdom of God?
Right.
Jesus answered and said, he called up a child and set him on a table and said, unless any of you become like a child,
Yes.
you cannot even access the kingdom of God.
Sure.
And the question is, how does an adult become a child? But I checked it. That word means teachable.
Interesting.
So because an adult cannot reduce his age, but it can reorient your mind, right? 90% of the time when Jesus was teaching, the tradition of the people stopped them from understanding his message because they have been, the orientation has been warped. But it says, if you can become teachable again, that's being like a child again. If you can become open-minded, because children have open minds.
They're very inquisitive.
Yes, that's what I mean by being a child.
Thank you. So don't touch this thing. Why? So we always want to challenge and, get the reason behind.
Right. And children are not shameful of learning. And learning shows you how stupid you were the last minute and makes you wiser the next
minute.
Learning shows you how stupid you were the last minute and makes you wiser the next minute. So most people who can't learn are those who are arrogant, egotistic, because there's this thing you're about to learn will show that you weren't even all that smart. But if you have no shame of learning, why not? Bring it on.
Interesting. So let me rephrase my question then. Being the grown child that you are, and walking now into rooms that people ordinarily would think that you would not, what I want to know, and leading the conversations in those rooms, not even just being present in them, charming in those conversations. What I want to know is the gap between that boy and the Ugochukwu Omeogu now that is consulting for JP Morgan's and a lot of other conglomerates. Closing up on that conversation, right? What is the critical mindset pivot that helped you through that transition, through childhood, well off into adulthood, and right now?
Is to be conscious of the type of ideologies you're picking along the way. Most of the reasons why smart people, intelligent people, high IQ level, by every standard, are still not doing as much they should in their lives.
Still not reaching their full potential.
Because they have picked the wrong ideologies. You hear things like, all fingers are not equal. You've heard that before? All fingers are not equal. Okay. What they're saying is that the height and the size. And I ask a question. Which one of them is less valuable?
None.
See? So the concept of equality is in terms of size. But in terms of value, which one is less valuable?
No.
So if you pick up the all fingers are not equal thing, you're trying to find an excuse why you're not doing well. This person is doing better because he lives in America. This person is doing better because he's born in a rich family. But that's not the reasons why people are successful. It's ideologies. No one is born poor or rich. We are born human beings. You're not born poor or rich. You're born male or female.
Sure.
In other words, if Dangote right now has a child and gave back to a child today and has the DNA of Dangote, and that child at the age of 4 months is taken out of Dangote's house and given to a very wretched poor man who lives in one village, never made a penny in his life, and that child grew up with that particular man. And the child of that poor man is taken at the age of 4 and given to Dangote. And Dangote raises that child whose DNA does not run in him. In the next 18 years, that child will think like Dangote.
True.
So his ideology is what's going to empower him.
True. So
what I figured out as growing up is 90% of the things that happen in our life is not based on what we did, it's based on how we think. So the true power is consciously picking ideologies, shop for philosophies that will power your actions on the physical.
Beautiful.
Remember, at the point I was driving and that car had a flat tire, that's the time everything changed. So if man in his finite wisdom can put in a brand new car, put a brand new tire as a spare. When the other tires were still good, knowing that if that car leaves the factory, things can happen to him. I already know that God knew I was going to that on earth, challenges are going to come to me. So whatever ahead of time, God already knows. So he put the abilities for me to counter those things before they come. It's for me to realize those things.
And tap into.
Yes, and that's where self-awareness comes from.
I mean, that's great. I want us to talk a little now about performance and peak potential, because I know that's your very much stronghold. So where you worked with top leaders across, many industries globally, when you come into your room for the first time, what are you scanning for the most? And I also know that you're a psychologist, right? So what are you scanning for the most amongst the people there that a lot of other people miss? And what do you think that people should start to look out for if they are to operate at their best potential in rooms like that?
Okay, so it's contextual.
Okay.
It depends on what you're looking for at the time. Like as a consultant, as someone that does training, business mentor, coaching, right? When I walk into rooms, I'm looking for people who have the capacity to use my value at the highest level.
So,
I'm not just looking for people. I'm looking for people who have capacity to use my value at the highest level. Because sometimes people think that when you give value to people, the equivalent will return. No, it depends on who is using your value.
true.
So if you give your value to people who don't have capacity to use it, they will produce according to their capacity, not according to your value.
Value.
But there are people who have developed capacity. A little 1 hour with them, they can change the whole of their lives. So I'm looking for people who are on a certain level of high value level performance, who can take what I have and then turn into multiple dimensions. I give you an instance that's happening. You know, there's a particular video going around the country right now on the 5 levels of money that Dr. Cosmos Madaka spoke on, right? And then that particular video has done 1.5 million in views, right? And are you aware of it?
Yes.
Okay, it's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
It's everywhere right now.
I see it a lot on people's faces.
Right, that's 5 levels of money. Everybody's talking about it. Do you know where you got that from? Not from me. Yeah. I had an event in Abuja. Dr. Cosmos Madaka was there. And I talked about the 5 levels of money. I've been teaching it to some of my business owners, and they are doing well in their businesses. But when he listened to that, you know, Dr. Madaka is my elderly brother. He's a one man I respect. That man has done well. He has proven that nothing is impossible.
At all.
Starting from zero with 200 naira to up to $500 million. And he's a globally respected person. And by all means, he's one of the iconic gift of Africa. And he has influenced my life. Dr. Madaka has, till today, he's still influencing, still inspiring me. But when he heard that's my statement, and he took it, he asked me, hey, he said, Ugo, send me the concept. So I did it together and sent it to him. Dr. Madaka digested it, owned it. And then when he spoke on that same subject, everybody in the world is calling. Those that have spoken to it in the secret, say, Mr. Ugo, that's it. But well, in the hand of him, it becomes powerful. So I'm looking for people who are at certain level of performance, who can make with what I have more than I could have made it without them.
Now, this obviously is because you're in the knowledge space, right? Now, very recently, there have been so many, there's been a need for people to share the information that they have and to sometimes monetize, not even sometimes, right now, primarily monetize it. Great. The question, however, that I think I would like to find answers to for myself and for them would be, how do they identify the people that have the capacity to pay them and maybe not financially pay them, but maybe the people that their knowledge would have the most value to and for, and then how can they monetize that knowledge that they have?
So first of all, I have an issue with the word monetize. You know, I think it is is underplaying the concept of value, like as though they're looking for the money.
Money, okay.
So it goes back to concept. There are 8 laws of wealth.
Okay.
If you understand the laws of wealth, it's easy for things to come to you. One of the laws of wealth is the law of exchange. So value will always return to the source of value. So once you create something valuable to people and they use it, they will naturally, as a matter of attraction, to want to get more of that. And when they want to get more of that, the need for economic, dimension comes in. But when you say monetize, it's like you're trying to take it to go and sell it, not take the value to go and give it to whom it is useful for, right? You know, like how people are hawking on internet. Everybody's a consultant now. Everybody's a coach. Those people have need for money. It is sometimes their poverty is driving them.
That's the driving force.
So someone who does not have a knowledge that is very useful because of the concept of monetize, they cook up some mediocre thing and then they're not answering coaches. And 90% of the time, most of these people are broke. They have not even built any business because they're hiding under the shadow of internet and then read a lot of books. So the concept of monetization should be from the frame of finding how to solve people's problem and how to create value for people, that the value becomes valuable to them, that the conversation is now healthy on how you can now generate corresponding income based on that value. But we have a very fraudulent ideology, sorry to say that, where people are looking forward to making money without creating value for people. So it's about hawking and being hawkish and very ambitious to collect money without the corresponding need to create equivalent value for people. That's why that concept of monetizing comes to play. However, there's nothing wrong with the concept of monetizing if it's taken from the point of value creation. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Now, but how do you find those who give you the highest value? You should pre-qualify people before you have them into your space. When people come to me and they have money to pay me for mentorship, I don't immediately accept it.
Okay.
You come to a pre-mentorship class to know whether or not you have what it takes to use what I have.
I think we do that on LIMBsimple.
That's number one.
Yes.
Number two, when you pay money for mentorship, you still don't have knowledge. So if you transfer $20,000 to me right now, $20,000, and say, Mr. Go be my mentor for 1 month, and you transfer the money, you still don't have knowledge. So the real price is the activity that happens in between you and I. So the real price is the time you spend on learning, the activity you try to do to normalize and accept the knowledge. So money can give you at best access, but whoever does not apply what I do, what I teach, who do I have to showcase that what I'm doing is working?
Right.
So because my real asset, my
testimonial
is the lives of people that are changing. Testimonial is also it's an understatement. Person's life and result is the most testimonial than what you say.
Yes.
Because anyone can blot out anything, can just be saying plenty on phone, or laptop, or on screen. Okay, Mr. Oga met my life, he has changed my life. The person's life not changed. You don't change lives in classrooms.
You don't.
No. See, teaching brings awareness. Mentorship brings discipline. Community brings wealth. First of all, if I'm teaching in a class, people tell, hello, sir, my life has changed. I said it's not true. Because what caused your problem was not in class. It was activities, philosophies, belief systems that happened between your uncle, your mom, your dad, your pastor, your imam. All those things formed what you believe, and that has affected your life. So coming to my class does not change it. It can only make you aware, bring to fore. These are the issues that you have. It is a relationship, either coaching, mentoring, or master classes, or training programs, not teaching programs, that begins to deal with those concepts again. And listen to this. One of the greatest ways ideologies are formed are through events. For example, if you live in a family where your dad couldn't pay rent, you have problems eating 3 square meal. Those things was not classroom. It was an actual event that happened where rent was due, that dad could not pay.
Life is happening.
You experience poverty in reality, in life. So how does the classroom change that?
No.
Oh.
No.
So what do we do? When events that happen that form people's ideologies, you should create a corresponding event to change those ideologies. Those events by themselves, you did not create. But when you intentionally create an event upon which an activity happens to change reality, that is called incidences. So you must make events happen and participate in that event for the purpose of changing what other event that you did not create formed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it totally does.
Pretty much that's how minds are changed through events that happen.
Beautiful. Now, I want us to have a quick conversation for professionals, right? And what I want us to talk about is people a lot of times hire based on availability. I'm talking about businesses that are starting up right now. Based on availability, right? Especially startups that do not have the finances to employ the best manpower possible, or best hands in the business. So what I want us to differentiate right now is the difference between capacity and competence. Because, you start up a business and you're employing those that you can possibly pay the most at the rates at the pace that the business is operating at. you'd expect that these people would grow in the business and then they become capable. And then you'd expect that they now go from being capable to being completely competent. So my question now is, what would we say is the difference between, in an organization, between a staff that has capacity and a staff that has competence?
Okay. So there's two questions there.
Yes.
The first question is, how do we startups people hire? Most of them they hire who's available. How do they hire the right people? So I'll put it this way. There's a difference between skillmates and teammates.
Pistol.
Skillmates, are those you hire purely because of what they can do. They don't have to buy the dream.
They have the hand power for it.
Yes, they don't have to believe in the business. They don't have to believe in the course, right? When you get a plumber to fix your bathroom, he doesn't have to believe in the dream of the family. It's a skill you want. But teammates are those whom you want to share the dream of the company, that have to believe and become part of dreaming in that company. And then they have to also have skills to be able to execute the task, right? So teammates are those who believe in the dream. Part of their motivation is to see the business work, not necessarily how much they're getting paid because of the skills they're provided. Those are teammates. So it's important to have perspective to know that not all people that are in your organization are part of your team. You should be able to make that differentiation. Now, also, people try to hire talent. You don't hire talent, you attract them.
Okay.
You hire skills, you attract talent. When people are talented, they are gifted with a particular thing or how to do something. If you deny them the opportunity to grow, they will leave you no matter how much you pay them.
Definitely. They will outgrow the business sometimes.
Talented people want to be given the opportunity to also contribute. So, but most jobs kill talents. They give them job description and say you are restricted to do X, Y, Z, right? It doesn't matter how much you pay them. If they're not allowing talents to excel, to give, to improve, to thrive, they're going to walk away. It doesn't matter how, because their own essence is in the ability to do that which they're gifted to. So those people are attracted. They are always looking for a place where their best can come out. Not necessarily because of the money, but they end up making a lot of money. But when you don't know the difference and you hire a talent and think that money will keep them, you have a problem. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so now on the capacity and capability and competence, see, capacity is the ability to receive something. This water, this cup now has capacity. Maybe it's 50 cl. That's the capacity. 50 cl. Okay, that's the capacity. You can pour this water about 50 cl is full. The competence or capability of this cup is the ability to dispense. So there are people who has a lot of capacity to receive. They have not developed the corresponding competence to execute what they have received. Okay, so if you understand that capacity is an innate ability to receive, there are so many people who all have the capacity of God, but we don't have the competence to create, because the competence is developed through practice, continuous practice, to hone the skill to not give out what you already have. Africa has capacity. The challenge we have in Africa is the high-level competence, which is the ability to execute, to compete in the global scale. So that's the difference. Everybody has capacity, right? We can receive training, we can receive information, okay? But not all of the information we have received that we have deployed. It is in the process of practice that competence is developed. So you should know the difference between the two.
Okay, so if there's anything that I've gotten from that is that, so you hire people that, are your skillmates.
You should know.
And you should know
who is a skillmate.
Yes, then know who is a teammate. And then also know people that have the capability and know people that grow into having,
competence, right?
Great. So that's actually this.
I have an instance. One of the engineers in Netflix was being paid $450,000 a year. And when he started with Netflix when Netflix started. He's one of the engineers that started Netflix. His salary was $450,000 a year. As Netflix grew, they restricted him to a particular function. They were not allowing him to contribute more in the next growth. He quit Netflix. They asked him why. They say he's bored. How could I be in a place that I'm not used?
Sometimes it's not really about how much you pay, people. It's about how much you allow them use the potential that they have
Yes.
within them.
Yes. It's like suffocating someone in a room without oxygen. Talented people, their oxygen is opportunity to excel. Whether I pay them money or not is not an issue. But if they excel, money will come.
True. I mean, I feel like maybe what makes a lot of organizations or, business owners stifle the potential and growth, maybe capacity within the staff would be the fact that, how what's this book, The 48 Laws of Power, where you say not to outshine the master. I personally feel that maybe what a lot of businesses or CEOs, business owners have that makes them not allow talents, explore their potential is because they do not want the business to evolve more than the vision that they thought it to be. Because Mr. Zika would often say that it's important that you allow your business to be one that listens. And maybe it means that you as the CEO starts to listen to, the conversations that are happening within your organization. You're listening enough that you are able to allow your staff to dream, to give you suggestions, to give you innovations. Because sometimes the best ideas might not even come from you. Right. Maybe you're excellent at execution, but you're not particularly perfect at creation. So allow people sometimes within your businesses create those concepts for you, and then you as the person in charge go on ahead and execute them. I feel like that just automatically tallies with what you're saying about
Yeah. So there's a difference between vision and creation.
Okay.
Get creators and get out of their way. Share the vision and get out of the way. Let creators are those who will figure out the best way to go about your vision. If truly you're a visionary or leader, you want your vision to show up, right? So, but if you're not a visionary and you are someone that is purely a manager and you're starting a business, you try to manage people, which is impossible to keep. Managing people means controlling people. You manage systems and processes. You lead people. Leading means inspiring people to be more than they were when they met you. Leading means seeing more in people than they can see in themselves. Leading people means sharing a vision of possibility and letting them create the process to get it done. So before we talk about business, let's talk about the business owners. Most of them are not leaders. Most of them are hustlers.
Yeah. Back to this conversation.
Yeah, hustling means an illicit way to get something. The word hustle means prostituting. Hustle is a derogatory word. No matter how you try to paint it in colloquial.
I've been hustling so much to make this money.
That's a derogatory word to paint a beautiful thing to do. So when you're working, you're creating. When you're working, you're creating. When you're leading, you're painting vision. Leading has in itself a sense of movement, a sense of direction. So a leader is someone who paints a picture so compelling people are willing to follow. Yeah. But he's also strong enough to activate people's capacity to create the ways for the vision to manifest. So not many business owners are leaders. Right? And then when talented people, which is it is one of the most difficult things for any business owner to do, to attract a talented person and not let them breathe. No way, they're not gonna stay.
I mean, if leadership is about, multiplying value, right? The value you have and the value that your, staff has. My question then is, how would, maybe a CEO or the talented person calculate, how would they personally measure the value that they are creating in the lives of others, not just like in their lives? Because again, we have agreed that leadership is in your ability to move other people to become the best version of themselves, right? So my question now would be, on what metrics are we going to be measuring the impact that we're making?
Okay, so there are different parameters to measure, but one that comes to my mind is people should be better than where they are, measured by what they can do after some time. If someone comes into your organization and he has XYZ type of knowledge, they can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Most of them can't even think by themselves. If someone can now, after some point, become an initiator of an idea and has the confidence to go and implement it without your help, that's one of the ways to measure. Your value is really multiplying, okay? When you're trying to put a system in place, you're trying to regulate people's activity for uniformity. Systems regulates behavior. People are following a particular sequence of actions in an organization. Very important. But when you're trying to replicate performance, which means you're producing your equals and giving them territories, people can open a branch of a company in another state. So the ability that you've transferred in people and help them set up a new venture without you, that thing is called replication. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
So one of the strengths of leadership is replication. It's the ability for you to transfer capacities, build capacities, transfer thought level, and help people realize their innate potential and guide them in the use of this potential for the purpose of being independent of you, especially in the organizational framework where someone can go to another country to open up the business. At that level of performance, it's collaboration that will happen.
Sure.
Even though it is still within the framework of the organization.
Sure.
You see companies all around the world. The visionaries are not necessarily inside the business, but the business, for example, now the CEO of Microsoft is not Bill Gates. The CEO of Google is not those that started Google.
Sure.
The CEO of some Fortune 500 now are not the visionaries or the founders.
Because they sold the vision.
They sold the vision. They have put system in place that make anyone that is willing to learn and grow to come in there and create. And the law of exchange says value will always return to the source of value, which means that if someone comes to an organization that is a learning organization and that environment nurtures him or her to grow in capacity and capability and is able to deliver on the result, the natural thing that will happen is that value will come back to the person. Because if you take him out, the value will not continue. So but people come into organizations, they want shares, they want equity without contributing anything. You see, that's another problem. That's an ambitious, way of thinking about it. Okay, what's in there for me? Wrong question. It should be what is in me for it. You know what I mean? How can I contribute that my value contributes over 60% of what makes this company run? That the natural law.
It's just that I'm reciprocated.
Yes, that's what.
Great. Now, so let's go back to the beginning of our conversation. Earlier on, you gave me a totally different mindset on how to correctly view disability. You said it was special need. Someone backstage said it was
people with determination.
People with determination.
People with determination.
Great. These people with determination. The conversation now is, what conversation about people with determination do we need to start to have in corporate Nigeria and by extension corporate Africa?
It's simple. Ideologies. We have imbibed anti-wealth philosophies.
Okay.
People, I can say that anytime I stand to be corrected, Africans never fought for supremacy. We've always fight against oppression. We have never said we are going...
Two different things.
Yes. We have never fought to dominate in a particular area of life. We are always fighting against colonialism, against corruption. We have never sat down and says, we come to the shoreline of a sea.
We're going to take up space.
And so we're going to see what is on the other side of this. We have never said in this industry, let's lead, let's put $1.2 trillion in research funds. We have never come to say this area of life, let's dominate it and have some level of sovereignty in those areas. We are always responding to what has been created by other men. So I think the disability in the African continent is the fact that we think there's another superior race above us. And I know history has said that Africans, we are very original before, like in the Benin City, we had street lights, we had African art. Well, the story is becoming too stale now. Now, what is happening now? We are not rising to the occasion. As of this particular podcast, India now is the fourth largest economy in the world. I mean, it was like the fifth and the sixth. They're pushing frontiers. And when they're talking about that, they're not talking about race. They're talking about manufacturing, production, all of those kind of things that requires ingenuity, okay? And if you go to the Bible, the Word of God, right, you would find out that in Genesis 1:28, it says, be fruitful.
Become many.
Which means be productive before you multiply, which means you have to be productive first, right? And it's a mandate from God, not from any particular... A company doesn't have to demand it to be fruitful before you become fruitful. It's a mandate from God that one of the ways you can change the world, one of the ways you can have dominance is to be more fruitful than any other person in a particular area. Then when you're fruitful, then there's something to multiply, which means let your fruit multiply. That it goes to the third one, is to subdue. Subdue means counter opposition with fruitfulness. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you also go through what's going on in America right now, where Trump is putting tariffs on everyone, what Trump is fighting is some countries are becoming more productive than Americans.
Yes.
All those outsourced jobs, the people who took it as secondary job, now they are now becoming leaders in those areas, especially China.
Yes.
So multiply your fruitfulness. Then use the fruitfulness, the productivity, to counter opposition. It is who is more productive in an area. Okay. Now I said dominate. Dominate means with fruitfulness. Dominate, the sovereignty is supposed to be based on how productive you are. In the last 20, 30 years, America is in so many wars. China has not been in war in 5,000 years. China has not gone to war. So it's not necessarily military power, but they're coming up to speed right now. But then, how come they're challenged? That's the second largest economy in the world. Because of they dominate with fruitfulness. Now, over 80% of the containers in the world and the ships in the world is built in China. It's domination with fruitfulness. And then it says replenish the earth with fruitfulness. So the 5 levels is be fruitful, be productive. Then multiply your productivity. Then subdue with productivity. Then dominate with productivity. And then let the productivity saturate the earth. So anytime anybody touches any product, what are the ratio of which product in the world that is bearing your name? Now, I started a new company outside Nigeria in South Africa right now. And I always say, ideas doesn't need visa restriction. Ideas are not restricted by visa. Ideas are transcendental. I can stay in Nigeria with the advent of social media and share a thought online, and someone in Japan can buy into it.
Sure.
And with the monetary system in the world, I can receive value in dollars and pounds and yen, even though I'm physically right here in Nigeria. So the universe travels to meet you wherever you are. You don't have to physically move around the world. Once your mind is built to the level that it can produce value for humanity, the universe will arrange itself materially, which means material things will locate you wherever you are as far as your beacon of signal is producing value to the universe.
I mean,
but you don't have to lose your leg to get that. I've lost mine, so you don't have to lose yours.
Thank
you. know what I mean?
Yes, I
You know what I mean? I'm talking to the people listening to us right now that the drive to create should be your innate, most fundamental drive, not your drive to collect. In that thought process, it doesn't matter which company you're working with or which business you're doing, that drive to create and to give is the highest attraction of business.
Thank you so much. I did say that would be rounding up in about maybe 12. It's 11:57.
Okay.
And I want to say that your life is a walking masterclass. And not because of how well or the clarity that you bring to conversations about wealth or performance or mindset or purpose. It's not even about the depth of your knowledge. It's about the fact that these things are your lived reality. These are the experiences that you have had to live. And I'm blessed by listening to you.
Tamir.
You've helped me figure out having to work at my best potential while thinking that ADHD was something I had to struggle with. So thank you for
it's a beautiful gift.
Thank you.
It just means we see things differently.
Right.
It just means there are only few of us in the world. And we bring that differentiation. Every other person is regular, but we are just the few gods on earth to make the rest of us look better.
Look at you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, if this conversation shifted your mindset as it has mine, I don't want you to just share this episode. I need you to sit down, to reflect, to take a minute and look at the life of Mr. Ugochukwu Omeogu and see yourself with or without legs as a person with the ability to thrive at the best possible potential. If you think it is possible, it is actually possible. So come your way next time, please keep building, not just with your hands, but with your mind.
Respect.
Thank you for watching, and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining us.
What's your name again?
My name is Melvis.
Say again?
Melvis.
Melvis, you are an incredible personality.
Thank you.
Most times I am very domineering in my thought. Most people barely can contain me, but you've taken a great, grand stand. I feel you're my equal. I know you're my equal. I enjoyed it. It was I was talking to my peer. Your level of your energy and the level of your wisdom is amazing. This is one of the best interviews I've ever heard.
What is the LIMBsimple story? It is not the story of high-ticket workshops held every month for 15 years. It is not the tale of massive halls, packed rooms, or the count of how many businesses we have worked with. No, the LIMBsimple story is deeper than that.
How can we know our limits if we don't attempt to exceed them?
It is a story of transformation, of becoming, of building with clarity, conviction, and community. It's the story of a farmer now hitting their first 1 billion naira, then 10 billion naira in revenue. It's the journey of an e-commerce dream, starting from scratch, now a force of 200 plus strong team, generating over 700 million naira every month. It's about a fish seller in the local market, crossing the 1 billion naira per month revenue threshold, not with magic, but with strategy that works. It's the rise of manufacturers exporting billions worth of goods to the world, and every month from Abuja to Benin, Osun to Ilorin, Lagos to London, Dubai, Qatar, Canada, they gather not just for knowledge, but for clarity, for community, for growth. We've seen real estate firms rise, built on integrity. We've built a trusted network where over 6.7 billion naira in business has passed between hands that trust each other. We've built businesses that don't just serve the CEO's dreams, but honor the ambitions of every staff member. This isn't about a guru telling you what to do. It's about walking with those who have been where you're going. It's about no fluff, simple strategies delivered by people who have walked the path. It's about 54 and counting businesses who've crossed their first or next billion naira with us. And once a year, in November, we gather at the LIMBsimple Strategy Growth Convention. We gather to learn, to connect, to sharpen each other, to share our stories and draw strength from the stories of others. We gather to be reminded of what's possible, to see what's working, to plan for what's next, to build better, smarter together. And yes, you can be a part of it. If your dream is bigger than your doubt, if your vision is clear, but your strategy needs clarity, if you know you're called to build something that outlives you, then this is your tribe. This is your time. This is LIMBsimple.